Hi there, everyone, and happy Monday. I am Maya Engel live in our digital studio for UpNorthLive Unscripted at 6:30. Not only is it a happy Monday, it's also happy first day of July. And gosh, what a beautiful way to kick off the month of July. It was sunny, it was warm, it was just a lovely start, but some clouds are starting to roll in, Joe. And are we going to see any rain with those clouds in the near future?
Yeah, we are, but not tonight. So, evening plans looking pretty good. It was a nice day, though, today. It was comfortable, and we had all that blue sky. But, yeah, I'm looking at our weather camera right now. If you look outside to the west, you can start to see some of those clouds coming in. Maya, the thing tomorrow, some rain, but it won't be an all-day rain. It'll be on the lighter side.
Okay.
We'll look at that. And, of course, we have the 4th coming up, 3 days away. And we'll take a look if we get any rain for the 4th. I'll have more on that coming up a little later.
Yeah, we'll check in with you again, Joe, after our first commercial break. But tonight, I want to start off with the top story when it comes to national news. So, in case you missed it, in a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court is sending the case whether former President Trump should be immune from prosecution for allegedly trying to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. They are sending that back to a lower court in Washington. So that ruling means that Trump probably won't face trial before the November election. The High Court says Trump has immunity from prosecution for official actions, but not for private conduct. And the former president denies any wrongdoing, and he argues that all presidents should have immunity, or else they'll fear making any decisions over prosecution. So that is why our question of the day today is, do you agree with the Supreme Court's decision in Trump versus United States? 47% say yes, 53% say no. If you haven't voted yet, you can scan that QR code on your screen right now to let us know what you think about this. On our Facebook page, it looks like we have about 58 comments. I'll read a few of those. If you want to read all of them, you can go to UpNorthLive Facebook page. You can also leave a comment on this live stream, and I will look at those and read them live as well. So let's just take a look at some of these comments. This is a pretty tight poll, so it seems like people are pretty split on this. So let's see what they are saying. The first person that comes up is Cindy. Her comment says, "No, I do not agree. They are Trump's cult members." Gail says, "Great news, and after what I saw in that debate, better start thinking of some other things that may not be what people say they are." Terry says, "Under the new rule, Nixon would not have been a criminal." Brian says, "Yup." Dee Dee says, "No, I do not. In fact, this just strengthens my desire to vote third party." Let's see. Lorene says, "Yes, I agree with the decision." Derek says, "Absolutely. Look at all the immunity they give to Biden." So again, we have about 58 comments. So if you want to read all of them, you can go to our Facebook page. Kimba just commented live on X, and she said it is a sad day in America. So again, please scan that QR code on our screen now to vote. And then you can, like Kimba just did, leave a comment live, and we can look at those as they are coming in. But we're going to circle back to our question of the day a little later. Right now, I want to turn things over to a local story that we were working on today. So, of course, Northern Michigan has a lot of beautiful places. And if you've lived here a while, you have probably seen a lot of these beautiful places. But maybe you haven't seen them in the same way that Tyler Leiprant has. He is a photographer here in Northern Michigan, and he has had some pretty great views of some pretty iconic places in Michigan and also some pretty iconic pieces of history. So today, our Mark Gillette talked with Tyler, and here is that story.
Think of a better way to do a book release than from the back of an MC-130.
Most coffee table book release announcements don't happen from the back of a military aircraft, but most photographers aren't quite like Tyler Leiprant.
Ever since the very beginning, it's kind of like I wanted to capture photos that people haven't even thought about before.
He has an eye for beauty, the ability to capture it, and the creative drive to do so in a way that no one else has.
You know, just being very creative, thinking outside the box, and just showcasing something that they haven't seen from that perspective.
And often, for Tyler, the former school teacher turned photographer, that perspective involves him dangling out of aircrafts to capture moments of history and iconic spots here in Michigan.
One crazy event, I got invited to go to the top of the Mackinac Bridge. I got to dangle my feet off. And after I did that, I called my wife and said, you know, I just dangled off the Mackinac Bridge, the most iconic thing in Michigan. what if I dangled over other iconic spots and do a series called Where Would You Dangle? She thought I was crazy.
She may be right, but Tyler's most famous dangle may be this one. His perfectly timed image capturing the Rose Bowl flyover.
I'm hanging out the helicopter, and at one point I just start hitting the shutter button, just holding down, like, I don't know where it's at, I don't want to miss it, so I'm just going to take some pictures of the field. And finally, last second, we saw it.
And based on web hits and usage, he estimates about 50 million people saw it, thanks to his month of planning, permission, and passion.
It's a huge sense of relief. You know, the pressure involved on that is just incredible on me.
He's the king of capturing the pregame flyover.
Last year, the Baltimore Ravens called me for the AFC Championship game.
But Tyler isn't limited to stadiums and crowds. He captures perspectives around here pretty well, too.
I guess it's just a creation process, you know, just the step from thinking and visualizing about what could I shoot next to actually doing it.
Photos so good, it turns believers into doubters.
For them to think that it's photoshopped, I guess I would consider a compliment because they haven't seen something like that before.
Tyler has the proof in his pictures and the stories of the great lengths and heights he goes to get them. He's putting the finishing touches on his first real coffee table book, a collection of some of his best work. While he realizes we've probably all seen the beauty around us, he knows few of us have seen it quite the way he does.
I got my hands on a camera and just fell in love with just creating.
What a great story. And we actually have Tyler here with us now, so we can bring him into the conversation. Hey, Tyler, thanks so much for joining us on Unscripted.
Hey, thanks for having me tonight. I appreciate it.
Of course. So, gosh, a lot to touch on. You have seen a lot of cool things from a very unique perspective, but let's kind of back up a little bit. So how did you get involved in photography? What is your backstory?
Yeah, so I don't have any photography background or education. So in 2016, drones were first coming out to the market, and my brother got one. And I was just looking at some photos that he took of a simple grain elevator. When we were kids, we saw this grain elevator with this door up top, and I always wondered what was up there. And he took a picture of that. And even though it was just a grain elevator, it just blew my mind because I've never seen that perspective. So I bought a drone and started talking to real estate agents because at that time, nobody was doing aerial photos of listings for real estate. And everybody was on board. And within a month, I had the drone paid off. And people kept asking, hey, can you do video, photos? So I just kept buying more equipment while I was teaching. So I did that for 5 years. I taught and I did photography full-time, learning, and just trying to improve.
Wow, that is very cool. It's interesting that you say that you didn't really have any photography experience, and now here you are taking some amazing photos. And I really liked the part where you said that some people think that your photos are photoshopped, and you're going to take that as a compliment. Because when I was looking at some of those photos, that was my first thought too. I'm like, this is almost too good to be true, but that just goes to show like how good your photos are.
Yeah, I do like 12 to 15 art shows every summer around the state. And so that's one of the biggest things is like they see the Rose Bowl photo and they say, well, you superimposed the B-2 bomber, right? The Air Force wouldn't let you get above them. And I just explain the story and show them the photo of me in the helicopter. And so I like to have those conversations.
Sure. So obviously you have seen a lot of cool things, have taken a lot of great photos from that flyover Rose Bowl. You can see in the background to the AFC Championship game to dangling over the Mackinac Bridge. Do you have a certain photo or a certain moment that really stands out to you as the most cool or unique experience?
Yeah, I mean, probably two things. I just flew with my sister in the Air Force in the back of MC-130, and that's something that I've always wanted to do. She's been a pilot for 9 years, and I've always looked up to her and just saw her photos and her flights that she's done and just serving our country and thought, man, it'd be so cool to fly with her. So that's up there. And of course, the Rose Bowl photo, that one took the most planning and effort in just scheduling to get out to California to take that from Michigan to be in the Rose Bowl, to win the game and win the championship just puts the icing on top.
That is so cool. So you mentioned that you do have a coffee table book coming out with all of your pictures. How can people get their hands on that?
MichiganSkyMedia.com. They can buy it right now for pre-sale. It'll come out August or September. And I'm just looking forward to showcasing a lot of pictures around the state and stories behind them.
And what is next? What is your next adventure?
Well, I'm hoping in a week from now, I might be on top of, cross your fingers, another iconic bridge in Michigan, hopefully dangling my feet off. So I don't want to say too much because it's still in the planning process, but that's up there. I also want to do a lot more flyovers this year for Big Ten football games. And who knows else, maybe the NFL. And the Blue Angels. I'm trying to get a ride with the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds. So they just came into town, but I didn't get the calling for that one. So maybe next time.
Yeah, always next time. So kind of some different sort of photos, either a lot of sports events or a lot of iconic Michigan landmarks and features. Do you have a preference on which one you like more?
I say I like them equally the same amount. I mean, the aerial shots of stadiums, I mean, that's just a lot of pressure,
Yeah.
and so a lot goes into that. And, days before I'm nervous. I can't eat because I'm just thinking about that. But landscape shots, I'm out in my element, just enjoying Northern Michigan, and there's no pressure. It's just going out there to create something. So I like the mix of the two.
And Mark kind of touched on this in his story, but can you go into a little more detail about how exactly you went from just starting to do some drone shots to then all of a sudden getting to go over the Rose Bowl and then having the AFC Championship game?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It was kind of a fluke. Like, I was up north on a fall color tour with my brother-in-law. We were photographing the fall colors, and I randomly met this guy, and he said, "Hey, do you want to go on top of the Mackinac Bridge?" And he had the key to the bridge. And so an hour later, I'm on top of the bridge dangling, and I just thought, man, this is the coolest thing. What if I started a photo series on where would you dangle, and dangle other iconic places? And so as I'm dangling over Michigan Stadium and Spartan Stadium, I'm like, man, it'd be cool to do this during a game. So the first game that I did 2 years ago was Michigan State, and I didn't know there was going to be a Coast Guard flyover, but I had a helicopter scheduled to take me above the game, and I captured the helicopter, the Coast Guard helicopter, directly inside the Block M. And after I did that, it's like, that is amazing. What a feeling that was, the pressure involved. And so I just started to set myself up with shooting other flyovers, and just got hooked on doing that.
And then so these people and places are reaching out to you to do this.
Yeah. I'm currently talking to different colleges across the state and the country on this coming fall. Who knows what the fall brings and what kind of connections I make or what shots I can capture, but I'm looking forward to the ride.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have about 30 seconds left. What would you say is your favorite thing about what you do?
Just traveling, going to see different places. And that gives me the ability to take my family. We homeschool. I got 4 kids with my wife. And so we can just travel the state and just show them different things and just make memories. So probably just making memories and having that piece on the wall that I can talk to people about, and just for that, share the love of Michigan football and just the stories that we both have about it.
That is awesome. Well, Tyler, thanks so much for joining us on Unscripted, and I can't wait to see your book.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, take care. We are going to take a short break here, but when we come back, we'll check in with Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix. He'll have your forecast for the week, including what to expect for the 4th of July. Stick around. Welcome back, everyone. And again, happy first day of July. The month so far off to a pretty good start. We had some sunshine and some warm temperatures today. But Joe, you mentioned maybe a little more rain this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple rounds this week, but the good news is none on the 4th. I think of the week, that's the one I think most people are concerned with.
Yeah.
We'll kind of dance around the rain before and after the 4th of July. I want to show you, though, Maya, we had some interesting, earlier we had some cool cloud pictures. I want to show you this. Do you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't it, I mean, if you were to look at that, wouldn't you think you're in Antarctica? Right? Yeah, this is sent in. So this is Saturday night. What you're looking at here, Don Les sent this in from Northport. This was a roll cloud that it actually was a cold front coming in. And that was looking out over Lake Michigan as this approached. Here's another view of this from Mike Jackson. That's at Cathead Bay in Leelanau County. That was after the roll cloud passed through. And you can kind of see that right there. This actually went over my home, and the wind picked up, and we had a lot of cool air behind that. Kind of interesting to see as that floated by. We are also looking at the National Cherry Festival. Here's the forecast there tomorrow in Traverse City. This is ongoing all week. Now, it doesn't look that great. Showers arriving, but it will be comfortable. The rain will be light, and it won't rain all day. But you will have a few showers if you're attending that in Traverse City. The reason we have some rain is because of all this activity out to the west of us. We have high pressure near Cleveland tonight, but that's moving away. That led to the nice day yesterday, all the sunshine we have out there today. But the weather is much more active to our west. We have a couple of severe thunderstorm watches in the Dakotas here. In fact, I'm going to get rid of the cloud cover so you can kind of see this a little better. See some of these storms tonight from Bismarck down toward, the capital of South Dakota there, Mitchell, South Dakota, and then some pretty intense storms here in parts of Nebraska. I don't think we're looking at any severe weather, but we will see some of that rain eventually working into northern Michigan. So a dry night tonight, but it is going to cloud up. Tomorrow morning, there's what it looks like around 8 o'clock. And then with time tomorrow, from west to east, these showers will pass over. Again, this will be light, showery type weather. More rain rolls in tomorrow night. I think that's our best shot for some rain later tomorrow night. Could be a couple pockets of heavier rain, a few downpours. Rain continues into Wednesday morning, but then look at Wednesday afternoon. It heads out of here and we get back to some dry weather. The rain totals, if you're wondering, well, how much? Through the day tomorrow, not a whole lot. A tenth, maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain. And then the additional rain comes in overnight Wednesday, right there, into Tuesday into early Wednesday. A couple spots there in the blue may see, around Mackinac Island, for instance, Drummond Island, perhaps up to a half inch of rain. As far as the 4th of July is concerned, we mentioned dry weather, and here's our forecast for that. Look at 9 in the morning. That's a lot of parades around the region. 60s for the most part dry. 3 o'clock, 70s, low 80s, comfortable temperatures, maybe grilling out in the afternoon. And then 9 o'clock, that's around fireworks time. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 60s, low 70s. That is for Thursday. And the extended forecast, there it is. So again, you see all the rain, but again, the 4th looks dry. Wednesday afternoon, too, should be pretty quiet. And another round of rain comes in Friday. And if you have weekend plans next weekend, there is the chance of some showers Saturday, perhaps into the day on Sunday. So that's something we'll definitely keep an eye on as we move forward here, Maya. But overall, not too bad. The 4th looks pretty good.
And that's what really matters. I know at least for a lot of us who plan
week.
on going to parades or fireworks or not. All right, thank you, Joe, so much. And we will take one more quick break here at Up North Live Unscripted. When we come back, unfortunately, no Harrison Beebe today. Sports directors do have to take a day off every now and then as well. But we'll have a story about the Mackinac Island Ferry Company's new owner and the impact that this change in ownership could have on customers and employees. So that story will be straight ahead. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Unfortunately, no sports segment today, but we do have a really interesting local news story. This was our top story in our 6 o'clock show. So if you have gone to Mackinac Island, chances are you probably have taken the Mackinac Island Ferry Company or the Star Line. And that was actually just bought by a Florida billionaire. And that same businessman already owns Shepler's Ferry, which is Starline's competitor. So our Up North Live's a little repetitive there. Danny Zivian, he talked with the new company to find out how this is going to impact not only the customers, but also the current employees. And here's his story.
David Hoffman and his family own companies for a living. On their website, real estate, aviation, manufacturing, and more. So how did the Florida resident land on Mackinac Island? The company says they didn't swoop in. Rather, Shepler's reached out.
We have now over 46 boats. We're in 7 different states across the United States. When the brokers approached us to look at Shepler's, we all came out there and instantly fell in love with the area. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Myself as well, being from the Midwest and from Wisconsin, everyone's been familiar with Mackinac Island.
The Hoffmans have since bought both area newspapers, the Sip and Sail Cruises, and the Star Line. Gazella says they have no plans to lay off any of the 500 employees at these companies. The Island Tourism Bureau says Hoffman has played ball so far.
We've seen 2 transactions that the Hoffman family has made in the area, and there's no evidence that there will be any loss of jobs. And in fact, we hope it makes it even a more efficient and effective businesses that we are currently running and that they currently purchased, and maybe we can hire even more people.
Both Gazella and High say ferry prices are determined by the city of Mackinac Island through licensing agreements, meaning that, according to Gazella, customers can also rest easy.
We're extremely invested in the area, and it wouldn't do us any good to do something dramatic like that in raising prices. It would only hurt us as well. The ultimate goal is for people to experience Mackinac Island and all that it has, and we're not going to do anything to ruin or tarnish that.
Now at more than 100 parcels, Hoffman claims to be the largest real estate holder on the Straits. In Mackinac City, Daniel Zivian, Up North Live News.
Let's take one last look at our question of the day results. Do you agree with the Supreme Court's decision in Trump versus United States? Results haven't changed since the beginning of the show. 47% of people say yes, 53% say no. If you do want to join in on the conversation, you can scan that QR code on your screen right now to vote. You can also comment on our Facebook post with this question of the day. And there's also quite the conversation going on this live stream right now. So feel free to add your thoughts and opinions on this in the comments down below. But thank you so much for joining us on Up North Live Unscripted on this beautiful first day of July. We will have much more local news tonight on Up North Live News at 11. So we hope to see you then. Take care, everyone.